Hey, you might as well call this a Hotels.com ad. Well, why? Because after that statement of a title, you're saying, hey, thanks, Captain Obvious. Anyway, friends, the Oilers win streak over for now because, well, you can always start a new one, and we got plenty of time to do that the rest of the way home this regular season. But the note that I think many people have missed so far out of this unfortunate ending against the Columbus Blue Jackets is this simple statement. The Oilers have points in 8 of their last 9 games and a total of 15 out of the last possible 18 points. Hey, you know what? On that kind of pace, you're still going to get things done. This is Dolynny TV, friends. Good afternoon. Welcome aboard, and I'm glad to have you for another great day to talk Edmonton Oilers. Of course, you didn't see much out of me yesterday. Um, Call it a mental health day, all right? That's, I guess, the best way to sum it up is I came home, I looked at my computer, and I said, you're going up into the living room, you're going on the TV via HDMI cable. I'll watch part of the Leafs game, then I'll watch the Oilers game, and I'll call her good, and I'll go do the post game. And I got about to a, I think the last thing I remember is Gene Principe looking through a telescope, to be honest with you. And then suddenly it was the second intermission, and I went to bed. So that's as far as I got last night. Again, right? Oh, you don't do a post game when the Oilers lose. Hard to do a post game when you don't even watch the game, I guess is what I'm saying. So, right, the Oilers take a 3-2 loss in overtime against the Columbus Blue Jackets in a game which has been portrayed as a game they didn't play so well. Friends, I got too excited to get to the whole nonsense of today's video, so if you're new to the channel, consider here sometime during this video hitting that subscribe button. Love to have you along for more Edmonton Oilers discussion, right? Obviously, there's a little bit more exciting stuff to talk about than the end of a 6-game win streak, but I'm looking at the positive notes here for the Oilers, in which even though it was more or less a terrible game from the Oilers, from everything I've read, and that's from people texting me at 11 o'clock at night, 8 a.m. this morning, midday today, and just everybody kind of giving me their thoughts and opinions. And I love some of the animated texts I got today and last night about the Oilers game. But here's the end of the day results for me. I didn't watch it, so I don't really get a valid opinion other than giving other people's observations. And here's the thing: the Oilers still have a lot of positives to take away because even though you crapped away a game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, thankfully, with it being an Eastern Conference opponent, you got 1 point that counts for something in the Western Conference standings. So the Oilers, I think, 2 or 3 points back of third place or something like that. I can actually update the standings. You know what? We don't have much to really do in this video. We can kind of mess around and get to it as we kind of look at the positive takeaways. Zach Hyman scored another goal. We had a depth goal out of Derek Ryan last night. I think the reason I woke up to go to bed at the second intermission is I did hear the Zach Hyman overtime goal because I think Jack Michaels just got that excited about it. But you look for the Oilers right now, overall in the NHL Western Conference, we're sitting in seventh. We've got 58 points. We're humming along, not too bad, right? Obviously, Colorado's right there in third spot in the Central. We have more points than them. So technically in the Pacific in terms of points, we're sitting in sixth spot. So we're doing all right. And I mean, LA's played 50 and so has Dallas. So we could be within tied with LA and 5 points back at Dallas's pace within our first 50 games of the year. You go over to the wild card, and this is where it really starts coming down is the impact. And what I'm talking about, that 15 points or the last possible 18 has been phenomenal for the Oilers. You look at the difference of even getting maybe only 10, right? You're at 53 points now and you're out of the playoffs because even Minnesota would be ahead of you. So there's a couple of little juggle them around kind of things here for the Oilers where the last 9 games have been absolutely impactful. And a lot of us would say, well, the strength of schedule still dictates we have it good. And I think even realistically speaking for the Oilers, if they were to lose the next 33 games in overtime, right? That's, hey, you butchered a game against the Columbus Blue Jackets and still got a point. So you even lose the next 33 games in overtime, you're at 91 points, and there's a pretty good chance at the end of the year that your odds of making the playoffs with 91 points might be 50-50 depending what happens before the trade deadline. Now, obviously the Oilers would like to try and secure 95 plus, and you look at the math to secure 95 plus and kind of what the Oilers have done over that 6-game win streak and this 15 and 18 point streak as well, is you look at it here and you've got 33 games remaining, right? 33 games divided or times sorry, what am I doing? 58 points, 95 divided by 58, you need 37 points. You've got to win 19 out of 33 games. So, right, you lose this one in overtime, you get a point out of it. To get 95, you got to win 19 games, so you got to go 19 and 14. The math is not too hard at all, right? The Oilers, obviously, I think we finally, for the first time this season, on that win streak, got a taste of what this Oilers team is actually all about. Evander Kane is back, Jack Campbell is rounded into form, yada, yada, yada. It all makes sense. And yes, the Oilers should be on pace to be the team that gets those final 19 wins in the last 33 games, and away you go down the stretch, right? Okay, well, you only need 18, lose 12, and lose 2 in overtime. Hey, that's fine by me too. However it comes, get it done. But as I said earlier in a video here in, I think the end of December or start of January, I said that the Oilers' month of January was going to make or break them. That was going to be a big time thing, and they had to figure out how to afford games to win and games to lose in the month of January. And when we look at this schedule, roster schedule, I think I said everything on the Pacific Division you had to win, where we lost 2 to the Pacific Division so far, 1 against LA and 1 against the Seattle Kraken. One loss I'd like to have back. Sorry, actually I forgot that we played Colorado in their 3-2 loss as well. I've been talking about this for weeks on end because it feels like, obviously I didn't drink BioSteel on the Saturday against the Colorado Avalanche. I don't think that was never part of the factor, but the New York game was always part of the factor. So we'll talk about the BioSteel streak later. I don't think anyone wants to hear me plug that anymore now that there's no real sense to it, but you get where we're going, right? I guess 15 out of a possible last 20 points is, I guess, more accurate. Apologies for that if you were coming in for that, but you look for the Oilers right here. Obviously a 6-game win streak, so you got 12 out of a possible 12 points, and then you got 14 there and 15 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I think actually lost in overtime to Colorado too. So pardon me, it's actually 16 out of a possible 20. All right. Wow, this math makes so much more sense. The Oilers doing way more damage. So you really realistically have 4 losses all month, 2 overtime losses, and 2 regulation losses. Okay, there we go. Jog the memory. It's been a long month. January bogs down, hardest month of the year at work because it's a new year. You got to get into the grind. And for me, guys, I am sorry. The hardest part about work this year is I have not been physically active at work. Normally, I'm out on delivery a lot, and I make mention of that. Oh, it was a hard day on delivery. Delivered 3,500 pounds, whatever I delivered that day. I've been on delivery twice this month. So the old muscles and bones and body is starting to ache because I'm not moving. So don't mind if the brain's cramped up at the same time. But for the Oilers, you've got 1 game left this month, and you're in danger of, at worst, losing 3 games in regulation all month, going 7-3-2. If we do that kind of pace the rest of the way home, we are just dandy, okay? So that's kind of where we get a month of January, which comes through absolutely 100% in the clutch for the Oilers. And I think, back to what I was saying, the month of January could make or break the Oilers. Well, the month of January has made the Edmonton Oilers, at least for now, as long as nothing horrendous happens the rest of the way home. So that's where we're sitting, friends, right? Is the streak's over. Thanks, Captain Obvious. But there's nothing to fret because the Oilers are on the right track and all is good in the world, my friends. You know what? Positive vibes today. Yeah, you know what? I have no opinion. I can't say anything bad about the Oilers game last night. So even if there are bad things to say, I'm not the guy to say them because I can't. All right. You have a great night. If there's actual news, I'll talk about it later. But how do I exit videos? You know, there's a time in my broadcasting career I was told, know how to start your video, know how to exit your video. And with that observation, friends, have a great night. I'm up on out of here.